What up? What up?
What's going on?
Big dog. What a week.
I'm telling you, man, it was a good one.
It was a good one. I have zero complaints about said market.
Same here.
Well, welcome back. It's been a minute since we've done one of these. Continuation of some basic concepts that we were going to talk about, answer some questions that we've got. Like I said, we'll take live questions if we get any. I know it's Friday evening, man.
Yeah, everybody's hanging out.
Well, we
I don't
usually
know.
do these on Sunday, but we got Super Bowl and, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, better off doing it today.
Right. So, anyway, basic concepts, some common questions we get. We will post this so everybody can rewatch it. But because we're reposting it, because everybody can watch it, I'm going to hit the intro.
Hit it.
All right. All right.
Oh, yeah.
So let's just get into this thing. And I am going to kind of apologize for maybe our first video. I feel like we left off a very basic concept that, like, think about it. Before we started trading, we never looked at a candlestick chart, right? Like everything I
man.
looked at was lines, and we just kind of left that off. So I was going to start there because everything we show is a candlestick chart, literally everything. And we did not show that on that first video. So apologies for that. That is something we completely overlooked. It's a super basic concept, easy to understand once you see it. But this is it. When we talk about our charts and candlesticks, this is what it is. It's very easy to understand once it's broken down.
And I'd say for day trading, you've got to be looking at candlestick charts. It's
100%. I don't know anybody that trades with anything other than candlesticks in some shape or form. And these can be any time frame you want. These could be 1 minute candles. These could be 5 minute, 10-minute, hour. They could be a whole day. Candles are great because they do change with the time frame. So, like I said, these could be a 1 minute candle, or you could change these to a daily candle, but the concept stays the same. If the candle's green, like this one, let's say it opens at $1 right here. That's the bottom filled in part of the candle. And then let's just pretend this is a 2-minute candle, because I think we both trade on 2 minutes time frames a lot.
Yeah.
So pretend this is a 2-minute candle, right? The stock in that 2-minute period opened at $1 right there. And let's say in that same 2-minute period, it ran all the way up to $1.50 right there at this point. But then in that same 2-minute window, it came down to $1.25 here. Or I'm sorry, let's scratch that. Opened at $1, ran up to $1.50, actually went down to $1, 75 cents, and then finished off the 2-minute period here at $1.25, whatever. There's no monetary value attached to these candles, so they could be whatever you want them to be. But the gist of it is that this is where it opened, this is where it closed. But in whatever time frame you're looking at, whether it's 2-minute, 15-minute, or the day, these wicks, as they're called, means it went up to that price or down to this price. But this is where it opened, this is where it closed. And then red is the complete opposite. If it's a red candle, it opened at the top, closed at the bottom. The wick concept is the same, but the open and close, of course, is flipped, and then your candles are colored accordingly. Green, it went up, red, it went down. So
That's
that's what we.
a pretty good way of describing it.
Yeah, super simple. And I think once you use candlesticks, in my opinion, you would never go back to using line charts. These just give you so much more information. And the fact that you can change the time frame is awesome. You can change the time frames. Like I said, I trade on 2 minute and 15 minute. We look at dailies, we look at hourlies, and every time frame you're looking at is candles. So again, apologize for not putting that probably in our first video when we did basic concepts, but it completely went over our heads and something we just didn't even consider. But everything we show is candlesticks. So anything you want to add to candles before we move on?
I mean, just that, you know, there's a lot of different variances of candles. I mean, you know, I won't get too much into that, but you know, there's the Heikenashis and stuff that I use sometimes to draw lines.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, basic, regular candlesticks, Japanese candlesticks, whatever you want to call them. I mean, that's what you need to be looking at. That's what I trade on, and it's you can spot reversals better with the wicks and things like that. I mean, that's a little more in depth, but
yeah, and we have a couple charts we'll show with candlesticks, of course, that we'll further dive into candlesticks a little bit just to kind of further touch on this subject. But I at least wanted to start with this because we should have showed this a long time ago. But I guess when you've been doing it for a while, you just, I don't know, right over my head.
Yeah, man, I can't even think about like trading with a line chart.
No, it'd be, it's like trading on expert level. I don't know. That sounds horrible. I don't even.
Oh, dude, I mean, it would be like trading blind for me.
Basically, 100%.
Like I gotta have them sticks.
Yeah, man. Stick. That's good. I like it. All right. So next thing we wanted to bring up and show a couple examples here, but we have gotten asked a lot, like, how do we find the stocks that we're trading, right? There's thousands of listed stocks that trade every day. And how do we find the ones we're trading? And for us, we've mentioned it before. Trade Ideas is our software piece of choice, our scanner of choice. But I do have a couple examples of a couple different scanners that we use. But basically, scanners is what you're using to find stocks. There's a lot of them out there. Some are really good. Some are very basic. Some you can really go crazy with criteria. But I was asked a question by our boy Marcelo. As a matter of fact, he was like, "What's the first thing you do?" And this screenshot right here, this is the first thing I do. This screenshot is from this morning at 6:35 this morning, 2 hours before market open. This is the first thing I look at. This is a basic gapper scan. We've talked about Trade Ideas before. We've done a video on Trade Ideas. You could check that out for a little bit of more information around them. But this is the first thing I do. And I think this is probably the first thing you do.
Man, that's the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is look at this.
Like, that's how the day starts. We're looking at this gapper scan.
The gappers, the D1 gappers.
It's super basic. And we'll touch more on this towards the end, but we are in New Age Wall Street, and we start off that room every day with this, right? We pull up the list of gappers, we plug those into our watch list, and then we just start going through them piece by piece. And this is, on mine, this is how it looks. I got the price, the gap percent. We've talked about what the float is. Of course, that's on here. We've talked about what the market cap is. That's on here.
All
the volume
info.
Yeah, I'm big with volume. What we have, and you can alter this for whatever, but anyway, this is how our day starts. Pulling up a basic scan of whatever it is we're looking for. But I wanted to show one other picture of a basic gapper scan through a broker that I absolutely love and think they're often taken for granted. I know this is kind of hard to read because it's busy, but this, I'll zoom in a little bit. This is a basic um, biggest gainer scanner is what they call it. Gainer scanner. The biggest gainers on the day. And this is through Thinkorswim.
Is this from today?
Yep. This is from today. Now, well, I say it. I took this picture an hour ago. So keep that in mind because, you know, it changes throughout the day. So I took this picture an hour ago. So it's a lot different from what we saw this morning because this is a dynamic thing. So you take the picture now, it's going to look one way. You take it in the morning, it's going to look another.
Oh, yeah, this is after hours, I guess.
Yeah, this is after hours. So the reason I'm showing this is because in my opinion, TD Ameritrade I think they've merged now with Schwab, but TD Ameritrade and Schwab, if you open an account with them, they give you access to their Thinkorswim platform, which is so underrated. It's free. Like if you have an account with them, they just give it to you. They are largely who I use for all my charting. And I have a couple screenshots of that, but they have gainer scanners that just show you the top gainers on the day. And those are, well, for us and for what we do, that's where our eyes are. You know, if something isn't up a lot or isn't volatile, we ain't even looking at it. Like
Exactly.
not fooling with it. So I'm just showing this because there's multiple gainer scanners out there, multiple scanners out there, but this is one that is built into the broker platform that is amazing, in my opinion. Like, well, you know, I still use them to this day. I can't get away from them. I love those.
Yeah, and a little side note for Thinkorswim, if you're gonna just use them for their charting software, make sure you throw a couple dollars in there, or else they'll close your account.
Yeah, so I've had an account with them forever. I think it's like $500 to open an account. And I opened an account. I used to trade with them more. I don't really trade with them anymore. But I have like, you know, $50 in there and an open position. So the account's active and the open position's like 10 shares.
I don't even think you have to have $500 to open an account. Like
maybe not. Could be
Yeah,
200. I don't know.
Dude, no, it's like a few dollars.
To open an account?
I don't even think you have to have any money to open an account.
Maybe not. I don't know. They're awesome. The platform's free. Great scanner. I can't recommend them enough. Like as a starting point, I guess. Trade Ideas is great and who I'd recommend every day of the week, but this is a great starting point.
Yeah, I mean, and the charting's good. You know, if you want to use like some of those scripts that we use, then you know, that's good.
Yep. So
trading view is pretty good too, but I mean, Thinkorswim is free.
Yeah. That's how we find the stocks that we play every day. Basic scanners. For us, we use Trade Ideas. But that's how our day starts. Like you saw, mine today started at 6:30, looking at that particular scan. So the next thing we wanted to bring up, right? In the first piece of this, we talked about a lot of terminology, floats and breakdowns and breakouts and all these different definitions. But one thing we wanted to really touch on and talk about a bit more is this. So this picture, there's a lot of pieces of it that we're going to go through. But really, like, I don't want to say 75%, but a huge piece of our trading revolves around finding levels of support and or resistance. There's more to it than that. If we could just rely on support resistance, we would be millionaires and everyone would do this. If it were that simple. Unfortunately, it's not. But it is a starting point you have to get familiar with and really understand and hone in on. So this blue line in this case is, you know, the stock has run up and hit it and it failed. Run up and hit it again and it failed. So this is it's a point of resistance. Like that stock is failing to break through that point. So that's what we call like just a basic level of resistance. That's all that is. You're just looking for points on a chart. Let's just assume that each candle here is a different day. In each one of those days, this is what the stock did. Ran up, failed, fell back down over the course of a month or so, ran up, failed again. And then it ran up again, failed again. And then here, it finally broke that level of resistance. And that's what we call a breakout.
And this could be on any time frame. This could be on a daily, an hourly, a 1 minute, a 2 minute. It doesn't matter.
Yep. Time frame's kind of irrelevant. That's what we say candles are great, because this could be a daily chart where every candle represents a day. This could be where every candle represents 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever. But that's where candles are great, because you can change the time frame. But that is the basic concept for, like I said, the blue line is a level of resistance. When it finally broke out, that's what you call a breakout. And it finally broke through that level of resistance and had a nice run.
Oh, yeah.
So for me, on this particular graphic, level of resistance, breakout. Those are the main two takeaways from this graphic. The blue line is your resistance line. And then, of course, you have the breakout more on the right-hand side, where it finally broke through that thing and ripped off.
I like that you have the line drawn on there too, because I mean that's something else that people can do is draw lines on your chart. You know, if it helps you, I do it
And
all the time.
I was gonna say that's what I do in the morning as part of my prep. I'm drawing lines, trying to find levels of resistance or support or what have you.
I do too.
But that's this graphic. Resistance, breakout. Two things that we mention a lot on our videos that we've never actually broken down. So that's what this is. So if we take that image and literally flip it on its head, polar opposite.
Oh yeah.
Ignore the little
that looks like some Russian or something.
Yeah, it does actually. So this polar opposite. You want to take this one?
Yeah. So for what we do most of the time, short selling, this would be great. You know, say I always short double tops. I love double tops, and that's what I would call this. These two, I know my mouse isn't on it, but these two top points, if you use that as your risk level, shorted there.
You talking about these up here?
Yes.
Right.
It's the same thing, you know. That would be like resistance, and then this right here, this bottom line being support. I mean, you could even short that. It's not as good of risk reward, but we'd call that like a floor wash. That's like support being broken.
Yeah, so instead of a breakout, this is literally flipped. So the blue line now is support because it's bounced off it 1, 2, 3 times. That's considered like
a breakdown.
Support line. And then when it breaks down, instead of a breakout, it's a breakdown. And that's exactly what that is.
We like that.
Yep. That's what we are looking for. We're looking for the breakdowns over the course of a day. Of course, we play them, you know, we're not really shorting weakness, but the concept here is the complete opposite. The blue line becomes support. It's supporting the stock above that line. But then when it fails to hold, instead of a breakout, it is a breakdown.
And sometimes you can have some killer trades just like shorting into a floor wash. But I mean,
I had one either this week or last week, and I can't remember the ticker, but I literally shorted the floor wash at a whole $1. It was $3. It bounced off it a few times, and I shorted like the third time it hit it, and it did floor wash for a nice little, nice little base hit.
Yeah, exactly, man. Like, and sometimes I think that's another thing. It just comes with time, screen time, and knowing what to look for. Like, I'm sure if you would have seen that thing, you know, if it floor washed into a wick and then immediately, uh, soaked it, held that, it was like a fake breakdown, then you would have covered, but like,
Right. And we will dive into one of our favorite concepts, which is a fake breakout. We will
mhm.
cover that. Actually, so yeah, this is a level of support, the blue line. It's a support line. Instead of a breakout, this is a breakdown. So same picture, I literally just flipped and reversed it, but the concept remains somewhat the same.
Oh yeah.
So one thing we say a lot. I rewatched some of our videos and noticed we use the term fake breakout all the time. And again, if you're familiar with trading, it makes perfect sense. If you're not, it makes zero sense. So we've covered we covered breakout, covered breakdown. This trade right here is taking some of those concepts we just talked about, levels of resistance, breakouts, breakdowns, and trying to tie that into this particular trade that we took. I don't know what day this was. One day this week or last week. Something.
This was yesterday.
Yesterday, even better. This was a good one.
I feel like it'd be good to explain too, like things like those fake breakouts and the fact that it's got a big wick there. The
Yep.
wick is huge. So think about the wick as like, I mean, that clarifies the fact that this is probably a fake breakout, and that's to trick people into buying it there, thinking they're buying a breakout.
100%. And I know these are all candlesticks, and they're all white, and they're all 1 minute candles. I use this screenshot with white candles to better show where I shorted and better show where I covered for that benefit. I don't trade with white candlesticks, but it's just a better visual representation. Of course, if it's a candle and it goes up, it's green. If the candle, if it's going like this is a massive red candle right here where it just tanked big. But the white just makes it easier to display my entries and exits. That's why they're white.
I think I'll show one the way it looked for me.
On that ticker.
Mm-hmm.
All right. While you're pulling that up, I'm at least going to let me know when you got that, because that would be good. But on this ticker, this blue line that I drew, it hit it once, failed, hit it again, failed, hit it again, failed. That's kind of a nice level of resistance where the stock is struggling to break through. That's the level of resistance. So here, like Seller said, this huge wick up acted like it was going to break out and just take off. And it didn't. It immediately came back down because, mind you, these candles are 1 minute. This happened in 1 minute. Acted like it was going to break out, broke down. That's what we call a fake breakout, where it's acting like it's going to break out, but then as soon as it acts like it's going to break out, it just hammers back down. That's where I got short. And then, of course, it kind of chopped around. Massive fails. This purple line is VWAP, volume weighted average price. We both use that, I think, on every chart we have. Like 90, maybe even 99% of the people I know that trade use VWAP. I think about everybody uses VWAP. But it got back up to that, and I like to see where it gets back up to that and can't break that line, and it just continued to break down. And we covered. So this is an ideal fake breakout.
And yeah, that one worked out great, man. And a lot of the D1 gappers have been working good here lately. That's why I was a little more inclined to hold longer.
Yeah, this is
targets.
Perfect fake breakout. Oh, you got your chart up. Let's pull up.
What is mine? Is mine still up? I think I already pulled mine up for a minute.
There it is, right there.
Yeah. It was showing it on the screen for me, like when you were talking. It was showing mine, but I don't know.
I don't know either, but this is the same thing. Still 1 minute candles, but his are colored, accordingly. But same concept. It acted like it was going to break out, and it just failed immediately. Like I said, these candles are 1 minute, so within like what 10 seconds, that thing went like boom and just hammered back down. Quick,
Man,
like
it
fail.
was like I think I hit it at what was it, like 118 here. Um damn it. And I actually waited for the little, what's it called? For the fail on this one. I was a little more hesitant, and right here I scalped it long in pre-market. Um I'll do that a lot. Just like I'll scalp a few shares long. Like sometimes you'll see me hit it and it'll immediately tank, and then I'm selling, and. But I try not to trade pre-market, at least not with size. But sometimes,
Yeah, I told you this morning, me and you were talking, and I said there was one. I don't know what the trade was anymore, but I said if it weren't for me having to chase my kids around and get them ready, I'd have hammered that, whatever it was at pre-market. But obviously, I'm chasing kids and getting them to bus stops and this, that, and the other. So my trading of pre-market is just hindered because you can't set stop losses, as we know, and I can't sit here and monitor it, so I just can't do it.
man, yeah, and also like not being able to set the stop losses. I remember one time longing something in pre-market on like a dip. It was something that had ran the day before, and it went way down, and I was like, "Oh man, I'm about to hit a long on this. This is going to come back up," because it was way down low on the RSI and everything. And I swear it wasn't like 10 seconds after I longed it, they did an offering.
Yep,
I was
be like
immediately
that.
down like $1,000. It was like immediate.
Be like that. So a couple other things I was going to show in relation to this whole fake breakout and talk about candles. I got another screenshot here.
Yeah.
So this is the same trade. This is the same ticker, the same day. Um, and these are my exact executions, except these candles are red and green, but each candle, instead of being 1 minute, are 15 minutes. So like we said, the candles you can adjust the time frames on your candles. Like you can make them, well, you can see on the screenshot, you got let's see here. Let me change. So we got 1 minute, 2 minute, 5, 15, 30, hourly, daily, weekly. They're preset candle time frames. But anyway, in this scenario, they're 15 minutes. And the reason I'm showing this particular shot, I guess, with the 15-minute candles is because everything I do, not everything, 90% of it relates for me around the volume of a stock. How many shares of that stock are being traded and at what levels? So these bars here show you how much volume came in on this stock on this candle. So this candle's a 15-minute candle. This volume bar here shows how much volume was brought into that candle in that 15-minute time period. So in 15 minutes, this stock traded 15.2 million shares roughly. And then it immediately died. Like after the open, nobody was really trading this thing. And where the volume is red basically means that candle closed red. So it just is telling me that in that 15-minute period, there were more sellers than buyers, hence why the stock or the candle closed red, why the volume bar is red. And then over here on the left-hand side, this is also volume, but it's showing me the volume by price. So this huge green volume bar here was just telling me that at this particular price area, 105 to 110, is where most of the volume was bought on this stock at that price. So as soon as this thing did a fake breakout and broke down below that level where that blue line is, in my mind, I'm thinking like all the people, the majority of the people that bought this thing above that 105 to 110 level are underwater. They have lost. So they're looking to probably exit their position If it ever gets back up to that price, they're probably going to sell. So basically, this is another kind of a telltale sign for me that this thing has failed. It's done. It's below that level. The volume has died. This whole screenshot for me is just confirmation. It's confirmation that this stock is underwater. The buyers are done. They're looking to get out of their position, and there's no reason why it should go back up. So as a short seller, that's what I want to see.
That's right.
And I mean, this particular trade couldn't ask for anything better. Perfect fake breakout. Volume died immediately. It went under that huge volume profile level. Like, this is what we want to see. We trade on confluence. We're not looking for just one specific thing. We're not just trading off of a specific level or a specific price or whatever. We're looking for like multiple reasons why we're right. That way, if we're wrong, it's fine, but we've had way more confluence and way more reasons why we could be right and it could go in our favor. And statistically, as we know, most of these small cap gappers, they fail. I mean, that's just the raw data. Statistically, there's a huge edge just in that by itself. Doesn't always work like that, and you still got to have risk management. But when it comes to stats and data, huge edge as far as that goes. So I just wanted to show this because it touches on volume a little bit. Same trade, shows candles, different time frames. And this one, the blue line there is kind of a level of resistance, but it's more volume based, which for me is everything. Volume is king.
That's right. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, really, every indicator you can put on a chart. And actually, this goes for large caps, small caps, everything. Any indicator you put on a chart is somewhat of a lagging indicator, but you can't hide volume. People can hide their orders and they can do weird stuff. You know, they can buy 1 million shares of a stock, but the order only shows 1,000 shares. And I'm not trying to go off on a tangent. All I'm trying to say is you can't hide volume.
That's so true, man. I like that.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, because, you know, people in DOS, we could do it. We could buy 100,000 shares of a stock, but hide our order size and it goes through level 2 for 1,000 shares or whatever. Or people flash big bids and big asks and it fakes out. It might not even be real, but you can't hide volume. So
Very
the
true.
last thing I want to show with this whole fake breakout piece and kind of tying in some things together. This is the same stock, but this is a daily chart over the course of 5 years. So these candles, I don't know what the math is on that, but these candles, like I said, this is a daily chart. I'm sorry. So every candle's a day. But anyway, the reason I'm showing this, I wish I could put two pictures side by side. That would be so handy. I guess I could do that beforehand. Thoughts for next time.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, this candle over here, this is the day we traded it. And remember, we shorted that fake breakout literally right up here at the top.
Yep.
Part of the reason we took that short right there at the top was because there was a nice level of resistance in that particular day on that stock. But also on the daily, if you go back, this is back from looks like October. The stock also got up to those same levels and failed with some volume. 20 million shares traded that day. That's why I circled it. So all these people that bought this stock, as soon as they bought it, underwater. Yeah. So from October, they're underwater. And a lot of people, especially retail, even hedge funds, but especially retail, when they're underwater, the common saying for longs who are bagged is it's not a loss until you sell, which is so wrong, but that's their mentality. So they bought it up here at $1.30 and it immediately tanks. It's under $1. Like they're down 50, 60% on their position. So basically, the reason we use this as a level of resistance is because when the stock pops back up, like it did here, all those people that bought back in this time frame here, the bag holders as we call them, we love those guys, but they're looking to exit their position. This is the first time since they bought it back here that it's popped up back where they bought it.
How many times have you heard somebody say, "Oh man, if it gets back to, if I can just get back to break even, I'll sell it."
Yep.
I've heard that. I know people in my personal life that
Mhm.
that they say they trade or whatever. But I'm not knocking anybody, but they'll be like,
Right.
they'll be down huge on a position. I'm like, get out of that. And they're like, well, if it gets back to break even, I'm going to sell it.
Yep. And
like,
that's
I'll
their
be like,
that's
well,
the
what if it doesn't
common
get back to break even?
Right. One of my best friends, he trades. He kind of like on the side a little bit, swing trades, and uh, one of my best friends. But do you remember the stock lottery LTRY when it was trading in the teens? When that was
Yes.
the big to do, and now it's trading like sub $1.
Oh yeah.
He bought it when it was like in the teens, and he's still holding that thing. And he's like, dude, it's not lost till I sell. And he's like, I'm gonna hold it until I can get my money back. So he's gonna just hold it until it goes bankrupt, until he get his money back. The reason I'm saying that though is not to knock him, but that's a common mentality. So like when you're trading, you got to think about the other guy. And when this thing spiked up and failed immediately, all those people that bought in this area, they're looking to get their money back or to mitigate their losses. So when the stock pops back up to those levels, that level of resistance that I already showed back here, like they're going to exit their position. So the likelihood of this day that we traded it to break through that is going to be really tough because all those people that bought it, 20 million shares of that stock were traded that day. I'm going to say at least half, probably underwater, maybe more.
Yeah, it's not like there's a bunch of big, like high volume sell off days after that,
Right. So all those guys that bought in here, they're looking to get out of their position. So again, that's another piece of confluence for us. On that particular day, it showed it couldn't break through 130. Back here, it broke through but failed. Here it got up there and failed, and then it just faded. So those guys are underwater. They're looking to exit their position. So it's just another piece of confluence on that particular stock that lets us know that area where we shorted, it's not guaranteed to work. There's no guarantees in the stock market. This thing could have went to $5. It could have went to 10. It could have went to 100, whatever. But odds are, statistically speaking, it's not going to break through that level. So we're all about confluence, and this is just another piece of confluence. And I mean, on this particular trade, there were, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 factors that all lined up for us, and that was an easy trade to take. If it didn't work, fine, but it's just a high odds setup. So
and don't believe the hype when on Twitter and YouTube where they say, the shorts are screwed, and we see all that like as if we can't just cover for a loss.
Right. And there was a thing the other day, and I'm going to put this back up here just for reference because this is the same stock that we traded that day. And like I said, the blue line that's the level we were looking at back on the daily as well. But there was a stock the other day that came out with some news, and it was trading at like $1 a share that they had, they were killing cancer in cells. And this wasn't Pfizer. This wasn't some major pharmaceutical company. This was a sub-dollar stock that needed cash really bad. And it was going crazy on Twitter. People like, oh my God, this thing's going to go to 1 million. Like Twitter was going nuts. The message boards, the Reddit boards was going crazy over this thing.
Was this
and
HBCO?
No, that was Snoop Dogg. That was the weed company, HBCO. I forget.
Dude, I didn't even look at it, man.
Yeah, I forget the ticker that this was, but they basically put out that PR that they cured cancer. And when you dig into it, this was a study over like 5 people, and it was very subjective. It was crap. Basically, it was crap. And I think they probably did an offering later in the day, and the stock just tanked. But long story short, like you said it. Like you just cannot buy the hype. These stocks are trading in small caps for a reason.
No, I
And
mean I do hit longs on these, like off of technicals only.
right,
I don't believe in any of these companies,
right,
and
right, right.
don't believe any of these people that are like, oh, they're like, oh, short sellers are evil. I mean, I don't think we're doing a justice by short selling. I don't think that we're evil either. I just think that we are taking the more probable approach.
Yeah, we're just playing statistical odds, and yeah, I mean, I don't feel like I'm an evil person. I feel like I'm a pretty nice guy. But when a
Oh, you
company puts
definitely
out
are.
a depends who you ask. But when a company puts out a PR that said they've cured cancer and the stock's trading under a dollar, I don't have a lot of faith that they're right. And and I hope they are right. Like that'd be phenomenal. Because as they say, like fuck cancer. I don't know if I'm allowed to cuss on here, but sometimes I do.
Oh, dude,
You
you
know,
can cuss all you want to.
if my mom's watching, I'm sorry. Um,
Oh, my parents don't watch this.
but anyway, yeah, it's just we're playing statistics, we're playing odds, and the reason we're trading small caps. I said this before on an interview I did. With small caps, we're largely trading market inefficiencies. These
Yeah,
things run up on air and they run up on hype and they get pumped up and then they dump and they fail. And
and they're
that's what
all
we're looking
worthless
for.
pieces of shit companies. I don't care. I
Absolutely.
don't even care if it runs to 100. It's still a piece of shit. It's
Yeah.
worthless.
GNS started at like 50 cents and it's currently trading at like $6. So it has like,
That's the funniest one I've seen in a while.
dude, the market cap of that company has went up like 600 times what it was 2 weeks
What
ago. It's
what's his
laughable.
name? Robert or
I
something?
don't know. R.
What?
Hamilton. I don't know if we should say his name, but
Oh, whoops. Yep. Well,
R.
anyway,
Hamilton, scam artist. I don't believe in GNS. Whatever. They're a bunch of crap. They're all crap. So
dude,
that's why we do
he's
what we
loving
do.
this, man. His wallet's getting fat.
Fat off of the backs of retail. Bed Bath and Beyond did it. AMC did it. People are gonna get mad because I just said those words, but it's true. Bed Bath and Beyond just did a toxic financing and just
Oh yeah.
bagged so many people. They just like I don't know how much they're share. I'm getting off topic.
Hey
Whatever,
man, some short sellers made like 900K on that.
dude. It was a home run play.
I
Home
definitely didn't
run
make
play.
900K on it.
No, I've traded. Last week and this week I don't know. I've shorted Bed Bath and Beyond in the last couple weeks. Um, Carvana too. Those
It's
massive
another
car
terrible
towers
one.
with the cars that are empty now because they're going bankrupt and the stock is people think it's gonna whatever. We're getting off topic. You said it, and I agree with you 100%. You can't believe the hype. You see this crap on Twitter, YouTube, Reddit boards, whatever that these stocks are gonna go to the moon. Just reference AMC, which was a crazy squeeze, mind you, but people were saying it was going to go to 1,000 or 500. Yeah,
I don't think that's. I mean, theoretically, I guess it is possible, but I will say that
possible.
back in like 2020, I made like my first 5-figure trade on an overnight AMC long. Like
Oh,
I got over PDT for the first time on an overnight AMC long on like a 9K account.
I mean, I definitely agree that there's plenty of opportunity on the long side, but when I met a guy that bought AMC at like $10 a share before the squeeze, he
Mm-hmm.
didn't sell a single share, and now he is down on his position.
Dude,
He
can you
could have
imagine?
made. He could have made I think he told me like 3 times his annual salary if he'd have sold even in the 50s. It went up to like 70. He didn't
Yeah, I think
sell a
it went to
single
like
share.
76 or
Yeah,
something like that,
he
dude.
didn't sell a single share because he thought it was going to go to 100 or 200. And he
Those kind of people,
still,
they're never going to sell. They're like,
yeah.
man,
We're,
the stuff you see on Twitter, I know we're getting off on.
yeah, bottom line, you said it. Don't buy the hype. Bunch of crap. That's how we trade these things. I forget the press release on this. Some wearable device that was going to do amazing things. Obviously, we see how it worked out, and I guarantee if I were to pull up this chart now, it's probably trading under 50 cents if I'm guessing. But anyway, this is why we play in small caps. This is what we do. So we're not evil people, but yeah, that there's a huge statistical edge in what we do, and that's what we're doing. you still got to have risk management because, like I said, this thing could have went to 10, and you can't hold a short position. You got to cut that thing loose. And we said, I can't remember what we said in the chat that morning when we were talking about this, because we talk about this stuff every morning.
Mm-hmm.
We entered in, and I think we said, like, if this thing breaks out,
Over like 150.
yeah, like if it, I mean, here we got in at about 125, and I think if we may even have said 135. If it breaks and holds 135, we'd exit our position. So we literally risked like 10 cents a share to make 30 cents a share. So this is a 3-to-1 risk reward. So even if we had just 1,000 shares, $1,200, we're risking what, from $1.25, let's just say, to $1.35. We risk $100 to make a little over 300, and that's just with 1,000 shares, a $1,200 position. Not a lot of money. Like, of course, if you have 5,000 shares, 10,000 shares, that all changes. But it doesn't take a lot of money to make decent money. 1,000 shares of that stock's $1,200. And that 1,200 could have netted you 300. Based on the trade that we took.
I mean, yeah, exactly. And then it's like, imagine when you can start banging 10,000 shares, like,
right. Because we kept a tight risk on that. I think our thesis was if it breaks 135 and holds, not a fake breakout, like a quick pop and fail, but a break and hold. And, we were going to exit and we were going to be done. And that was it. But obviously it worked out. We love fake breakouts. And this is fake breakout 101 with Confluence. It struggled here in pre-market. It had struggles on the daily. The volume on this thing, and like I said, this is the 1 minute, but huge volume right up front at open, and then it just died. No volume, and that's what we like to see. Like, this is what we want to see. People aren't buying it, and it's just slowly fading down, and that's exactly what we want. Couldn't ask for a better trade any day of the week, right there.
Nice, man. Same way with HILS today. It wasn't quite as clean as this, but it was still a good one.
Yeah, this was nice. So that's fake breakout 101, and that's what we're looking to trade. So we talked about candlesticks, how we find the stocks we do, breakouts, breakdowns, support resistance levels, a fake breakout. I've talked about VWAP. I didn't put up the definition. I'm going to do that.
Basically, just anything like that with like Valentine said to me, and just, I mean, I just love any setup like that. That you can keep your risk tight and you can size in as close to your risk as possible.
Yes, you don't have to risk a lot. He's a good example. He takes trades and he keeps his risk really tight, and it either works or it doesn't.
Yeah, he is. I mean, you'll see him stop out and it'll be like right under his entry or right over his entry,
Yep. And position sizing is, we got a whole video about position sizing and how to manage your risk and stuff like that. That's still like numero uno. There's nothing more important than risk management.
Yeah, if you don't have any money, if you don't have any capital, you're done. You're out of the game. And I've been there, and it sucks.
Yeah, you have to live to fight another day. There's a guy that we follow on Twitter, Switterman. He said it really well the other day. Like, you got to live to fight another day. The trade of the century could come up tomorrow, but if you don't have the capital to participate, sorry. So,
hard lessons learned with that. Definitely hard for me. I'm thankful. I think I'm past that point now.
Yeah, and it's a long game. We learned some hard lessons, some hard ways, and it is what it is. But
yeah, man.
So, do you have anything to add to fake breakouts before we get into common questions we've received? Or anything that we've talked about thus far?
I mean, fake breakouts, it's, I know you don't really go long at all, but I do. And I mean, fake breakouts work the same way as fake breakdowns. You know, something that's grinding high volume. like a small cap, and it does a little fake breakdown, maybe under VWAP or above VWAP, but just a little wick down. Man, I mean, if it uh, starts consolidating at highs, makes a fake breakdown, same way. I feel
Yep,
like it's the same situation. You could hit that long,
100%.
risk 10 cents or whatever the price is.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Risk a few percent, and I mean, usually it's gonna squeeze up.
Yep. So a couple common questions I've gotten from one video, from our previous video to this video, either DMs, personally, Twitter, whatever, that I have wrote down that I would answer. And of course, if other people have questions, you can put them in the chat. You can DM us, message us, whatever. We'll get back to you. We're pretty nice guys, especially you. You're nicer than me.
No, man, you're nicer than me.
I don't know. Sometimes I go with these freaking people on Twitter. I can't help myself.
You need to ask my wife then, man. She doesn't think I'm a nice guy at all.
Let me talk to her. No, I'm kidding.
She'll be like, all these people think you're nice, but you're not nice. I'm like, I'm only mean to you.
That's why she married you. I get it.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. So, first question we get a lot. I think both of us get this a lot. And I know you do. I do, whatever. Which broker? Which broker do I need to get? And we touched on this a little bit last time. I wanted to touch on it again. I don't think which broker you have is going to make or break your trading. And if somebody tells you that, they're lying. It's not going to make or break your trading. But it does matter. If somebody tells you it doesn't matter, they're also lying. To me, it lies somewhere in the middle. It's not going to
It
make
really
your,
just depends on what you want to do.
yeah, you're right. And it's not going to make or break your trading. It's also not going to stop you from trading or make, it lies somewhere in the middle. Yes, it matters, but no, it's not going to. It's just somewhere in the middle. I've seen people say that broker doesn't matter, and I've also seen people say, "Oh, you must get this broker." I don't think either of those statements are true. Somewhere in the middle. For us, we use Cobra primarily. That's our broker of choice. Maybe on a future video we could do some broker pros and cons of brokers we've used and break it down in more detail.
That'd be a good one because
Would be a good
I've got most of my money, my capital in my Cobra account, but I have a couple other accounts. And I've told you there's one other one that I could talk about that.
No, we talk about them like we use Cobra, and we will do a video on breaking down some brokers' pros and cons. We use Cobra, and as far as a hard to borrow short seller, they're the best. They have the cheapest borrows.
Definitely
They usually have borrows for everything. They are amazing. You can literally call them, and a person will pick up the phone in like 5 seconds.
And they're in Texas, so that's cool too.
That's true. Like one time I was in a trade, my power went out, and I'm freaking out because I'm trying to pull it up on my phone, and it's taking forever. So I'm like trying to do it on my phone while calling them, and I actually get the resolution through the phone call quicker than I do the mobile app. But so Cobra, we recommend Cobra. The con to getting Cobra is like you got to have, what is it, 27K to open a Cobra account. I think it's 27K. Yeah, you got to have an account over PDT or they won't take your account. So that's the con with Cobra. If you're looking to get into short selling, hard to borrow short selling, and you're under PDT, your only real options is either TradeZero, who will take your account, and it doesn't take a lot of money.
You got a 2,500.
There you go. And they usually have borrows for everything, but their borrows are more expensive. But again, pros and cons. And Cobra also has like an affiliate broker called Venom that will let you open a non-PDT account, but they use different software, and I think their locates are less readily available. But again, pros and cons.
I haven't ever used Venom. I know that Cruz talked about it before.
I haven't either. I know some people
honestly
have.
don't know anything about it. To be honest, I'd be lying if I said I did.
Same. The only other thing I was going to touch on that I was going to let you touch on CMEG, but I would touch on, and I mentioned already, TD Ameritrade. They have their Thinkorswim platform, and you can't do a lot of hard to borrow shorting through them, but their platform is so amazing and it's free. It's very customizable. You can do about anything with Thinkorswim's platform. You can do custom coding. You can make your charts look any way you want them. They have built-in scanners, and it's free. And I love the way their platform looks. I still use it to this day.
Look good.
I still use it, and it's very easy to use, very fluid. I love it, and the fact that it's free sometimes blows my mind. But
the only thing I hate about it is the way you gotta zoom in with the highlighting.
Hotkeys, bro.
I know.
Hotkeys. That's another good thing about Thinkorswim is you can customize hotkeys. I customize my plus sign zooms in, my minus key zooms out. Boom, boom. But CMEG, I know you've used CMEG. So what you got on CMEG?
Yeah, man. Like I've used CMEG a lot. I've made and blown many an account with them. But like after I had a big blow up a few years ago, I put like a couple $1,000s back in a CMEG account, and I found out about them just through researching on like Reddit and stuff like that.
But what's the best thing about CMEG?
Okay, I got off track. The best thing about them is, I mean, you can start an account with them with like $500, which I wouldn't recommend that because you're going to blow it, because you have to have at least $350 in there to keep an account open. And they'll just shut you down. But with CMEG, you could start an account with what you'd start an account with TZ with, $2,500. You've got ridiculous leverage, which don't use it if you're first starting out. But if you know what you're doing, you could take advantage of that leverage. They've always got locates. Now sometimes they're going to be like TZ priced, but sometimes they've got good prices on locates.
But they don't have PDT, right?
No PDT rule. That's
the key.
I'm sorry. There. I know that was what you were wanting to get at, and it's
no. The other stuff is very valid, but PDT sucks.
Dude, man,
PDT sucks.
I've grown an account under PDT over PDT one time, and I don't think I could do it again.
It sucks. You only get the 3-day trades in a 5-day period, but with CMEG, because they're located like in Virgin Islands or Cayman Islands or somewhere.
I think they're located in Trinidad.
So because of that, they don't have to follow U.S. SEC regulations, and you can trade as much as you want and freely as you want, but the commission's a little bit higher. So pros and cons.
They don't even report to the IRS, which, just saying,
Yeah, that's a pro and con. We've seen some overseas brokers in the past get shut down, and people don't like lose their money, but their money can get tied up for weeks, or I've even seen months before they get it back. But pros and cons.
Yeah, you can get screwed with all that. But I don't think it's not FDIC insured. But I don't think that you're going to have like a what was that crypto broker that?
Yeah, I don't even know, Binance or
it was the one in the Bahamas. Dang it.
Yeah, the guy people lost their money, like legit just gone.
Yeah, I think my brother told me he lost like 10 or 15 grand.
It's a freaking nightmare. I've never heard of that happening with these brokers, but keep in mind, if they do close, your money could be tied up for weeks or months, whatever. But you got
to go over there and hold them up. You got to say, all right.
We might do a video in the future with some broker comparisons and pros and cons. One of the other questions that I got a lot that I've been asked is, how much does it take to get started? And that's something we kind of just touched on a little bit. Some brokers require certain amounts, but if you're looking to just open an account, I mean, I kind of struggle when this other guy asked me this question too, or the couple people that asked. Like, in my mind, if you can open an account above PDT, like, great, because then you can trade as much as you want, and you could even trade with one share just to get some familiarity, even though your account's above PDT. Not everybody can open accounts above PDT, obviously. But 2,500 bucks. I think my first account with E-Trade was 2,500 bucks or $2,000, somewhere in that ballpark, just enough where I can take some decent position sizes, to grow or whatever, to get some familiarity. So in my mind, I would say at least 2,500 bucks, because I agree with what you said a bit ago. If you open an account with 500, you could trade it with a share or 10 shares. But if you're trying to take even 100 shares of some stocks or a decent position size, you can, not a lot you can do with that unless you're just trying to learn the software. That's how I look at it.
And it is, like, I know you said it the other day, it's better than paper trading.
Yeah, and that's different for everybody. So paper trading is just you're trading pretend money. It's a way to keep you safe and get familiar with the software. And for some people that works. And if it works for you, awesome. It didn't work for me, because when I went from paper trading to real trading, the emotional aspect and the psychology piece, that it just, I didn't get that with paper trading. So I would rather trade with literally one share of real money than to paper trade. But that's just my opinion. So I can get that. It can be, how many times you set at your computer with even small size, 10 shares, whatever, and you're sweating, right?
Oh,
Because you're,
man, a lot.
like, there is a huge piece that isn't often talked about, I guess, with, when it comes to paper trading or whatever. But anyway, in my opinion, yeah, like, I'd rather trade with one share than to paper trade. But yeah, for me, 2,500 bucks lets you take some decent position sizes, gets you access to most brokers. What did you say? Trade Zero is 3,000?
I think it's 2,500.
2,500. And you could get access to Trade Zero, where you can pretty much short anything. Their commissions are free. You can go long, you can go short, small cap, large cap. We give Trade Zero a lot of crap sometimes because their locates are kind of pricey, but you could literally trade everything commission free under the sun, large cap, small cap, and options. Again, pros
If
and
you're not
cons.
in the U.S., you got to use them.
Yeah, either that or interactive brokers. Like, you don't really have a choice.
I don't know if CMEG caters to anybody out of the U.S. They probably do. And just a side note, you do profits. There is a form that you can get from them to report to the IRS, which I've used before.
CMEG.
Yeah, but it's they don't directly report. I just thought I'd throw that in there in case the IRS.
You got to do it yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is, that's opinion on that. So the last question I wanted to touch on, because I've been asked this a couple times, just by, I think, people that are generally interested but have really no idea about the general concept. But can I lose all my money? Yes, you can. 100%. You can lose every cent you have in there.
I've done it more than once.
Yeah, I've blown an account too. The key is, though, we have an episode on risk management. Watch it, because if you have risk management, or you trade really small size to get some familiarity with trading or the software, or trying to find an edge, you won't blow your account. But if you go all in on a position and you hold it because you don't want to sell for a loss, then that's how you can, or cover a loss. That's how you can blow an account. It's all about risk management. So people, I don't know how many times have you been asked by friends or family, like, or not asked, but told, like, oh my God, what you do is so risky. You're going to lose all your money.
It's like part of the reason why I don't even speak to my parents anymore.
Dude, like, I will say my parents, my wife, all very supportive, thankfully. But I've had a lot of people be like, bro, you're going to you're gonna lose all your money. It's like shorting small caps, like people that have a general concept of the idea, they're like you're gonna lose all your money. And the majority of people do lose. However, if you possess risk management, you can protect yourself from yourself in the markets. So
It's a
it all
tough
comes
thing to
down to that.
learn, but once you have it, then I slip up sometimes. I think everybody does,
Yeah,
but
100%. And that's why, and this again is a pro of Cobra. With Cobra, you can reach out to them and set a broker max loss. Like you can email Cobra or call them and say, hey, if I ever lose $1,000 in a day, you shut my account down. Don't let me trade anymore.
that's
And
what
they
I've got
will,
mine at.
yeah, and they'll literally shut your account off. You lose $1,000 or whatever you tell them, they will shut your account off and not allow you to trade anymore until the next day.
I mean, sometimes if it happens really, really quick and you have a ton of size, it could be like 1100, or
Yeah, yeah. They'll try their best to get you out at your broker max loss, but once you've hit that number or eclipsed it, and then your positions are closed, they're not going to let you trade anymore. They're going to shut you out, and that's
it happened to me
protecting
the
your.
other day.
Yeah, but it's fine. Like it protects yourself from yourself. I think everybody should have a broker max loss, and it's just kind of like a fail safe switch, like a oh shit button, if you will.
Yeah,
And that's a pro of because like Trade Zero doesn't have that. TD Ameritrade, to my knowledge, doesn't have that, but that's something that Cobra has. That's why they are who they are. That's why they're so freaking awesome. So those
very good.
are some of the top questions that I have wrote down that I've gotten. Do you have any to add to that
Mm,
that you've gotten the last week or so from episode to episode?
man, I think we've already covered most of those in that last video we did. And it's mostly just, I don't know if anybody's still going to understand or not, but the biggest one I got was just people that don't understand what that, like people. It's not even so much that they're asking; they're hitting me up, and I tell them I'm a short seller mostly,
Oh
and
yeah,
they're like, oh yeah, I do. They always one that big one that everybody says is, I do shorts too, and I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah, I trade on, and then they're like, I trade on Robinhood, and I'm like, what? No, you don't. But like,
right.
I don't want to be a dick about it. I'm just like, I'm trying to like have a conversation, but it's hard to talk to people because I just don't think that it's common knowledge. I don't think people like really know what we're doing.
No, there's a lot of us on Twitter, a group of us that communicate with each other, but outside of that little
We're really a small
right,
niche, like a small group of like.
it's not a widely practiced form of trading what we do.
No, it
And
really is a niche.
yeah, most of the
They
small
say.
cap traders are long bias that think they're buying the next Microsoft or the next Apple or Google or whatever. They think they're buying the next big thing, and that's just not going to be the case. So, yeah, short selling is what we do. We literally profit when a stock goes down, which we talked about in the last video. Um, but anyway,
This guy Oscar Steven, he said,
that
"Hang
he's
with me, bro."
enjoying. Yeah,
I said, I misspelled enjoying.
appreciate you, Oscar. Hopefully, you got something out of our jabbering on.
Yeah.
Um,
We could
but
talk
anyway,
about it forever.
we could, and we're coming up on a good hour, and we know it's Friday night. I got stuff I want to do. You got stuff you want to do.
Yeah, I hear my wife and my son running around out there hollering and stuff.
I tried to make my kids popcorn before the video, but I think the popcorn is gone, so now they're probably getting antsy. But anyway, yeah, we could talk about this all day. We tried to take some questions. That's why we wrote some stuff down because, from like I said, from episode to episode. But obviously, if people have more, ask us, comment on the video, DM us, whatever. We're on Twitter. I'll put the tags in the description per usual. Also, we are in New Age Wall Street. We do this literally every day in there. We talk about the stocks we're looking at. We create watch lists. We do trade recaps. and we do one-on-one calls with people. Like our boy Marcelo, we've both done a call with him in the last week. He is soaking up
Yeah.
a lot. That dude's going to be a
Marcelo's super
beast.
cool, man.
Yeah, he's going to be good. He's already got a nice foundation. He's going to be a beast. But anyway,
No
uh,
doubt.
we'll put that website in the link as well. I will say on Monday, Cruz, the main man that runs the ship that is New Age Wall Street, by Monday, let me say by Monday, he is planning to have some updates done to the website where he will put the small cap pieces in there. And the reason I'm saying that is I think starting Monday, if you check out the website, I think he's starting the free 7-day trials then. So if anybody's interested, at least check it out. You can get a 7-day trial, and we do the small cap stuff. And then Cruz and his gang are some option gurus. Like, dude called, did you see he called the Tesla thing? I don't want to get off subject, but he called that
Yeah.
2 or 3 days ago. I mean, that dude, he's sharp. He knows his stuff. And it's one of the
He
few
really
places.
is.
Yeah, man. And it's one of the few places you can get access to like options and small caps, like multiple types of trading. So starting Monday, that 7-day trial should be up and going. And then with the 7-day trial, I'm pretty sure he's just giving access to literally everything, like all of it.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
can see what's what and figure out if it's something that you want to keep doing. But anyway,
This guy,
that's
Jeff, he just said he caught the end of it.
Jeff called in. Yeah, okay. We got you, Jeff. Check out other videos. Hopefully you like them. If you have questions, ask us, DM us, all that good stuff. Appreciate you checking it out, though.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Jeff.
But yeah, man, New Age Wall Street, we're there every day. I'm there at 6:30 in the morning, and we're there literally, I don't all day. Like we always have our stuff pulled up, but we're accessible. We do the calls with people for free, all that good stuff. But check it out.
Yeah,
DM
sometimes
us.
I'll run off, but man, I got it on my phone all day, even if I'm not at the computer.
Yeah, because like Marcelo's in
He's in Europe.
Amsterdam, so his time zone is like crazy. It might be like 4 p.m. for him, and he'll message us now, and we'll still answer as best we can. But anyway, I think that's it, man. Right?
Yeah.
Did we
Yeah,
get everything?
I think so. I mean, all the the basics. I can't think of anything else. I mean, we could go into
We
more.
could go forever. Yeah. So again, questions, comments, let us know. Leave comments, DM us, all that good stuff. You know where to find us. New Age Wall Street, Trading Unfiltered. We're on Twitter. I'll put everything in the description below, and boom, right? We're good.
Yeah, man. I think that's it. Unless anybody,
Going live on a Friday night's tough. I wouldn't want to get on anything Friday night, that's for sure. Normally we do this on Sundays, but Super Bowl is this Sunday, so I'm going to be busy watching the Super Bowl. You're going to be busy watching the Super Bowl. It is what it is. Super Bowl it's like a holiday. You can't miss that.
I know, man. I think we're gonna try to go to this. Like, I've never been to one, but tomorrow in Birmingham, which is just like an hour away from where I live in Tuscaloosa. It's like the monster truck jam.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, my son, he really wants to go, so we're gonna go do that tomorrow.
That'll be cool. The next time we do a live thing, we'll try to do it at our normal times, like a Sunday evening or something like that. But Super Bowl kind of overrode everything, and we tried to at least pump these 2 episodes out within a decent amount of time of each other. But anyway,
we're trying to get like one a week,
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate y'all. Hopefully we answer stuff. If you have more questions, hit us up. New Age Wall Street, Trading Unfiltered, Twitter, etc. Big Dog. I'm sure I'll be talking to you all weekend, but if nothing else, I'll holler at you on Monday, and we'll do this trading thing again.
Sounds good, man.
All right, brother. Peace.
Peace.